Hello and welcome back to I Have No Idea What I Am Doing, a fortnightly show all about learning. If you've been following from the beginning, you'll know that we are learning Vue X and we are creating Devs Against Humanity, which is basically a Cards Against Humanity clone. If you've not been following along since the beginning, please do so. The playlist will pop up just up here. You can start at episode 0 or episode 1. Episode 0 is kind of just me going over the documentation and things, and episode 1's where we really get started with the app. If you don't want to watch all of the episodes, then you can just follow along from this one. All of the episodes are tagged and branched in GitLab, where the repo is in the description below. So you can just check it out at any episode and pick up right from the same place we do. Today we will be taking our fairly static app and making it a little bit more dynamic by adding in mutations, which allow us to manipulate the data that we've got. We'll also look into test-driven development a little bit and start writing tests for the things we want to achieve before we've actually achieved them. But without any further ado, let's get learning. Okay, let's start this episode the same way we've started a lot of the previous episodes, and that is have a quick look at what we've done previously. So what we have is two separate sets of cards. We have the black cards and we have the white cards. They are both being pulled in from the same array. There's some that are tagged with, if I open up that array actually, cards.js, this is the array here. We see some of them are set to the deck position, some of them are set to the hand position, and then we have two card lists. One that's taking all the cards from the hand, and another one that's taking all the cards from the deck and saying that the cards are black. The way we've done card type here is wrong, really, because the card list wouldn't determine what card types are inside it. Really, this should be a property on the card itself. So we'll look at that a little bit later. But what the main thing is I want to look at today is mutations. So previously we have looked at, if I open up that card thing again, we have the state, which is all of the cards, and we have the getters, which gets us a subset of them cards. So we can get all of the cards in a location, which is what allows us to do the cards in the hand and cards in the deck thing. What is next is we want some mutations. So we can take this data as our initial state and we can start mutating it. So we can take a card here from the deck and put it in our hand, something that you really would do in the game. So let's not mess about, let's just get started straight away. And the first thing we want to do is export the mutations, and let's just leave that blank for now and call that mutations. Now the reason we do export const here is because we can run tests, and this way just allows us to export the mutations straight into the tests and import them standalone, so that we don't need to worry about the rest of everything that's going on in this cards module. We've done that with the getters already, and we can test them. So let's have a look at the documentation to refresh our memory on mutations. Okay. Oh yeah, that's it. We commit a mutation. Commit with a payload is probably what we want. We can do an object style commit. This is all coming back to me now. The problem with doing this series the way I've done it is it's like a week to 2 weeks between me looking at this project, so I'm starting to forget some of the things that I learned right at the very beginning. So I'm constantly refreshing myself. That might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. I don't know. I do have to relearn a lot of these things though. So, okay, what I'm going to do, same as I did before with the props, I'm going to start with a really simple one. And I'm just going to take this face up attribute here and swap it from true to false or false to true. Just toggle it, basically. So let's write the first mutation. We want to turn the card over. And how do we do this? State and then n. State and oops, I'll fix that. And the card that we want to turn over. Okay. And then in here, state.count plus equals n. I want state.card dot face up. Actually, what is the card? Const card equals state dot filter card dot ID equals that's the card ID. So let's say card.faceUp equals card.faceUp. Not card.faceUp. That doesn't seem very immutable to me. Maybe Vuex fixes the immutability for me. We'll run with this for now. If it doesn't, we'll look into it. So what the reason we have to do the card like this is so previously we did have this as an array of objects where we'd have like card 000 or whatever it is, and then so we could just say state.card00, but we can't anymore because it's just an array. So what we do is we filter that an array and say it's the card where the card.id is equal to the card ID that we're requesting here. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's fairly trivial to run this filter. It just runs through the list once, so that's fine. And then we just say whatever the face up value is, set it to equal the opposite of whatever the face up value is. So if it's true, set it to false. If it's false, set it to true. Okay, so that should work. We should have that. Now we need to add it to our card list component. How do we add them? Methods, of course it is, right. I want to import, what am I importing again? Mutations from Vuex. Methods. Seems to work, and we just want mutations. No, not increment. What's it called? Turn card over? Yeah. Turn card over. That should work. Oh, I'm missing the doofert. It doesn't like that again. Okay, so I've been having some issues with the spread operator here. I don't know why it doesn't work, but basically I'm getting this babel error here that hits the spread operator and it just doesn't like it. So it's been recommended to me that I look at this, which is transform object rest spread, which is part of Babel. And I add it to the Babel RC. No results found. Do I not have a Babel RC? Is it inside Webpack? Well, maybe that's the problem. Let's copy the whole of Babel RC. Dot Babel RC. Yep, just in the root. Yep, use dot. Thank you. And then I should probably. Do I need to install it? Yeah, there we go. That will do. I'm using npm there, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's installed. All we need to do now, if I kill that process and start it again, hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh, it's not shouting at me, so hey, successfully compiled. Okay, so if you do want to use this, where is it, card list, this spread operator here, then you're going to want to add in transform object rest spread. I'll link that in the show notes below, so if you need it, you can find it there. Okay, so we have mapped the turn card over mutation to the methods. So according to the Vuex docs, that should map directly to this dot turn card over, and then we just pass in the card ID here. Okay, so up here we want V on click, and we want to say turn card over card.id. Okay, that should, in theory, that should work. So now I've opened up the Vue DevTools panel here so we can see it working. This should flip over. Well, it's half working. It's triggered the mutation anyway, and it's sending the right card. So we've got the card. The payload is card 003, and the type is turn card over. So let's dig in and see where that's failing. I have a feeling it's in here. Let's just hit debugger and see what happens. Okay. So card ID is there. Yeah. Card is state.filter. Do we get? Right. Okay. Okay, it's because I'm using filter, and what filter does is filter is going to go through the whole state and filter out all of the cards that match the card ID and return an array of them cards. So we are getting an array with one element in. We don't want that. We just want one element. Now I think what I need to do here instead is find rather than filter. I'll just get rid of this debugger. Did I save that? No, that's my usual trick. So we resume there, and then there we go. So we can see inside Vue, we are clicking and turning these cards over, and it should work on all of the cards. There we go. So they're all face up now, and now they're all face down. Okay, so now we've got a very simple mutation. What we want to do is test it. Now, in the previous episode, we very quickly set up the testing suite, and it's a bit rudimentary. One thing that was really bugging me about it was I was editing the video was that if I go into the full file structure here, we've called the test getters.spec. Now, going forward, we're going to have a lot of getters across the whole app, and really, I don't want to be bundling all the getters together. I want to be having a different testing folder, file, whatever, for each module, not for each type of thing we're going to be testing. So I am going to rename this to, if it'll let me type. Why has it done that? Cards.test.js. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Test a better word anyway. I don't know why I went with spec. And then we can test the getters in here, and we can test the mutations as well. Another thing I'll need to change is inside package.json. We are specifically calling test/getters.spec. Now I may be able to glob this. So if I do star.test.js, and let me just see if that runs. This is a guess. Yes, good. Right, now that allows us to have cards.test or, I don't know, something else.test, and it'll just pick them all up. Another thing that would be nice is if we can watch these tests. So if I do -- watch in here, and then I run npm test, there we go. So now that's running, and it's constantly running. So in theory, if I start changing things inside the tests, then this should update and rerun the tests. So I can constantly have my tests running as I'm developing, which is nice. So I want to, it's not called getters.spec anymore. Let's change that to cards.test.js. Getters and mutations. There we go. See, I saved the test file, so it reran the tests for me. Now, that is describing getters. We'll hide that for now. We'll have a new describe block that describes the mutations. We want it should, what should it do? Flip a card over. So how have we done this there? We've mocked the state, which is something else I'm going to want to do. I'll take that. I only need one card to test this. Const ID card ID equals that. And then result in the same way. Not getters, but mutations dot what do they call it? Turn card over. Thank you, helper. We don't call it like that. We call it as state and card ID, and then we expect results dot to d equal, and it's gonna be the same, but it's pasted weird. It's gonna be the same, but face up is going to be false. That's right. Okay, why is it doing that? Oh, I want to return card. No, do I? Ah. if I return state there, it works, but previously I didn't have that. I wonder what does testing say on here for testing mutations. Well, there we go, it's the first thing. Oh, right, yeah, right, okay. I'm not looking for a result. I'm going to delete that. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, we're still failing. We're not expecting the result to equal anything. We are expecting the state to deep equal that. So I guess we are mutating the data. I mean, it makes sense. It's called a mutation. Okay. I don't need to do this deep equal nonsense though anymore. So if I do expect state 0 dot face up dot to be false to equal. There's too many testing libraries and I keep munging them together. Cannot read property equal of undefined. Oh, God. Hey, there we go, right. To equal false. I'm just going to switch them around to make sure it, yeah, there we go, right. Don't need to log that as a result. Yep, okay, good. So there's the test for the card mutation. Done. That was nice and quick and easy. Okay, so that's our two tests passing. Now, up until now, the way we've been doing this is we have been writing some code and then writing a test to test that piece of code that we've just written. And we're going to try a little bit of the other way around. We're going to try some test-driven development. So we're going to write a test for our next method, or mutation, sorry. We're going to write our test for our next mutation before we write the mutation itself. Now, being able to watch the test is a big help in this, so you can write the test and then gradually write the code that passes that test. So what else should it do? So it should, this should be, we're going to do a slightly more useful mutation here, and we're going to give cards the ability to move between two different piles. So moving from the deck to a player's hand as they pick up a card, or moving from a player's hand to the player field as they play a card, or moving from their hand to the deck again as if they were to dispose of their cards and get some different ones. So this will be quite a useful mutation to have. So what should it do? So it should move a card from the deck to the hand. And how does that look? So if we have const state equals, let's just have one card in here. In fact, I'll copy this whole state. Yeah, okay, so it's in the deck. Oh, that's what happened there. It's in the deck, and then we want const card ID again, because we need to know what card, and that is card 000. We also want to know the destination, and it wants to go to, what did we say, the hand, and then we want to do mutations dot move card to, and we want to pass it the state and the Yeah, and it's fine. 3 arguments is fine. Card ID and destination. Now, the reason I paused there was I wasn't sure whether to do like an object with card ID and destination and pass it through as just a second argument, or to pass it through as arguments 2 and 3. I'll go with arguments 2 and 3 for now. If we start getting more arguments, I'll do it as a sort of options object, but this is fine for now. And then what do we expect the outcome to be? We expect state 0 dot position to equal destination. Okay. Now if we save this, we will have one failing test. The test is mainly failing right now because there is not a mutations.moveCard2. So that's the first thing we need to do. Create our mutations.moveCard2. State, what do we say? Card ID destination. Okay. Now, again, we want to find that card like that, and then we say card dot position equals destination, and now the test passes. So that was a really quick and easy way to write our mutation. The reason we do it this way is because instead of, I mean, this is relatively straightforward this way and it just worked the first time, but if we were to mess anything up, like if we did the filter thing like before, we can see that it's failing without having to go into the code and you know, test everything. We just know that it's working straight away. So if I turn that back to find, and the test passes, and we know our mutation works. So all we've got left to do now is pull that mutation into the card list. There's not really a useful way of calling it right now, so I'm just going to change turn card over here to be move card 2 and send it to card ID and send it to the hand. Now in theory, now they're already in the hand, so clicking on a card. Oh, right, yeah. I need to add it to the mutations. Move card 2. Now, clicking on these that are in the deck should send them to the hand. I don't know what I just clicked on there. I think it was everything, which puts it up here. Getting blasted in the face by a t-shirt cannon. Click on it. Oh. Let's see why you're not working. Click it. Ba-doo! Move card 2. Move card 2. Oh, we just have a payload of 000. I guess you can only send one parameter. So when I paused before and I wasn't sure how to send it over, I was right to do so. So start by changing the test, and we'll make that an object. Oop. Make that an object. Make that an oh Jesus! There we go. Right, now the test is failing again. Cannot set property position of undefined. That is because move card 2, and that just wants to be payload. And then we want const card ID and what did I say? Destination equals payload. There we go, and we're passing again. So this should start to work. If I just update how I map it in here, move card 2, and that wants to be card ID, maps to card ID, and position, no, destination, hand. That's car ID, it wants to be card ID. Right, now this should work. There we go, we've got a payload with card ID and destination. And in theory, getting blasted in the edge by a t-shirt cannon should move in the hand. There you go, it did. It's right there. If we set that the other way, so it's no longer sending it to the hand, it's sending it to the deck, it'd be a lot easier to check. Eating people has now moved to the deck. Dave's Cantina moved to the deck. Clown has also moved to the deck. Now they're in a bit of a weird order, but it's fine. So now we can move cards between groups, between hands. Okay, so what have we done today? Mainly we've been doing mutations. We have made a mutation that allows you to turn a card from face up to face down and back again. We have made another mutation that is slightly more helpful and allows you to move a card from one location to another. So we've hard coded it in this sense, but it'll start to become clear why that's a really nice mutation to have once we get a bit further into the app. So what we have done is, I'll just refresh this. Oh, I don't know what I've done at my window here. Let's not worry about that. When you click on a white card, it moves it into black cards. So there you go, nice and easy. We have really looked at tests for these things. So if we go into cardstest.js, we are now testing the getters and the mutations separately. So you can see the getters for cards and the mutations for cards are both being tested. We have our filter the deck cards test from before, and now we are testing if the card should flip over and the card should move from one deck to the other. So if we look in the cards.js, we'll see we now have mutations as well, where we turn the card over and we move the card to a new position. So we've looked at a lot of the basics of Vuex now. We've looked at getters, we've looked at mutations, we've looked at changing state, we've looked at components and props and testing all of that as well. There's still actions is one of the things we have left on Vuex, but I'm going to save that for now. My plan further down the line is to start using Firebase, so we'll be using some asynchronous calls there, which the actions will really help us out with. Next episode, I'm going to start bringing in the game elements to this. So we're going to add a few more getters, a few more mutations, a few more components, more props, basically a lot more of the things that we've already got. But since we've already gone over them, I don't need to explain them as much, so we can cover a lot more ground in the next episode. If this is the first episode you've watched and you just want to start picking up from here, then feel free to do so. The repo is in the description, and all of the episodes are tagged, and there are branches for every single episode as well, so you can pick up pretty much wherever you like. As ever, these episodes are released on the 2nd and 4th Thursday of each month, making the next episode February the 8th. If you don't want to miss out, just hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified straight away. If you have any questions about this episode or the series in general, feel free to let us know on Twitter at FrontendNE, or make a comment on the repo, or just comment on the video down below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you for watching. Remember, I have no idea what